Thank you for joining Wars of the Roses. And this is Massachusetts from the Encyclopedia of Freemasonry by Albert G. Mackey. Massachusetts. Freemasonry was introduced into Massachusetts in 1733 by a deputation granted to Henry Price as Grand Master of North America, dated April 30th, 1733. Price, on July 30th of the same year, organized the St. John's Grand Lodge, which immediately granted a warrant to St. John's Lodge in Boston. On November 30th, 1752, the Grand Lodge of Scotland granted a warrant to St. Andrew's Lodges, and thus the dissensions of the ancients and moderns began in Massachusetts. On December 27, 1769, St. Andrew's Lodge, with the assistance of 3 traveling lodges in the British Army, organized the Grand Lodge of Massachusetts and elected Joseph Warren Grand Master. In 1792, the 2 Grand Lodges united and formed the Grand Lodge of the most ancient and honorable society of free and accepted Masons for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and elected John Cutler Grand Master. The Grand Chapter of Massachusetts was organized June 12, 1798, and the Grand Council of Royal and Select Masters in 1826. The Grand Commandery, which exercises jurisdiction over both Massachusetts and Rhode Island, was established May 6, 1805. In 1807, it extended its jurisdiction and called itself the United States Grand Encampment. In 1816, it united with other encampments at a convention in Philadelphia, where a general grand encampment of the United States was formed. And in 1819, at the meeting of that body, the representatives of the Grand Encampment of Massachusetts and Rhode Island are recorded as being present. And from that time, it has retained that title, only changing it in 1859 to Grand Commandery in compliance with the new Constitution of the Grand Encampment of the United States. The Reverend Brother Montague of Massachusetts is said to have received in 1825 or 1826 a document proving that the first regular lodge in America was held in King's Chapel, Boston, by virtue of a dispensation from the Grand Lodge of England about the year 1720. This claim was published by Brother Charles W. Moore, Masonic Mirror, and his standing lends weight to it, although further proof is lacking. In 1733, Henry Price was appointed Provincial Grand Master of New England by Lord Viscount Montague, Grand Master of Masons in England. The brethren assembled on July 30th, and a Grand Lodge was formed under the title of St. John's Grand Lodge. The following Grand Officers were installed: Andrew Belcher, Deputy Grand Master; Thomas Kennedy, Senior Grand Warden; John Quan, Junior Grand Warden, pro tempore. Orders were received from the Grand Lodge in England to establish Freemasonry in all North America. In consequence, the St. John's Grand Lodge was ardent in the work and even established district Grand Lodges in Chile and China. St. Andrew's Lodge, however, was not recognized by them until the brethren were all united under one Grand Lodge on March 5, 1792. St. Andrew's chapter was formed by 10 members, 4 of whom, if not more, belonged to Army lodges, and held its first meeting on August 18, 1769. Until July 26, 1792, it was called the Royal Arch Lodge of Boston. At that time, it was mentioned as chapter, but not until May 11, 1797, was it called St. Andrew's Chapter. James Brown was elected Master and Charles Chambers Senior Warden. When the connection of the Army brethren with the chapter was severed, there was some question of its right to continue work, but the use of its own charter was granted by St. Andrew's Lodge until the Grand Chapter was established. Delegates from St. Andrews, King Cyrus, Providence, Solomon, Franklin No. 4, Franklin No. 6, and Hudson. Chapters assembled in Hartford, Connecticut on January 24, 1797, and formed the Grand Royal Arch Chapter of the Northern States of America. It was decided that there should be a Grand Chapter of Royal Arch Masons established in each state. Massachusetts Deputy Grand Royal Arch Chapter held its first meeting on March 13, 1797. The word deputy was dropped from the title after April 1799. At the annual meeting in Newburyport, September 17, 1799, it was fully established. In 1817, Boston Council was organized by 9 Royal Arch Masons who had received the degree of Royal Master. It undoubtedly received written authority from Columbian Council No. 1 of New York. At a convention held on February 8, 1825, at Brimfield, for the purpose of establishing a Grand Council, 6 councils were represented by 17 delegates, and on June 15, 1826, the Grand Council was fully constituted at Boston. Newburyport encampment conferred degrees as early as 1795. It ceased work during the anti-Masonic movement, but was revived in 1855 when its charter was restored. A convention of Knights Templar held at Providence, Rhode Island on May 13, 1805, adopted a constitution for the Grand Encampment of Massachusetts and Rhode Island. According to the authorities in Massachusetts, this was the first Grand Encampment to be established in the United States, though that honor is also claimed by Philadelphia. The introduction of the ancient and accepted Scottish rite was as follows. Boston Lafayette Lodge of Perfection, chartered January 21, 1842. Lowell Council of Princes of Jerusalem, May 28, 1858. Mount Calvary, Chapter of Rose Croix, May 16, 1860. Massachusetts Consistory, May 15, 1861. Thank you for watching, and please don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment, and if you can, please consider donating to Wars of the Roses. Links to PayPal and Patreon are in the description. Thank you so very much.